let's talk about the U.S. women's national team roster that just dropped for the Old Faithful January camp of this year. Let's start first with the goalkeepers. We have Claudia Dickey, Mandy McGlynn, and Jordan Silkowitz getting the call-ups. Now for defenders, a bunch of new faces: Jordan Bugg, Avery Patterson, Izzy Rodriguez, Tara Rudd, formerly known as Tara Mickione, as she and so many players got married this offseason, Emily Sams, Giselle Thompson, Kennedy Wesley, and Kate Wiesner of the Washington Spirit. Jumping up to the midfield, we have Corey Bethune leading this with Hal Hirschfeld, Claire Hutton, Riley Jackson, Lola Bonta, Sally Menti, Sam Meza, and Olivia Moultrie of the Portland Thorns. Last but not least, the forwards. We have Maddie Darlene, Jamise Joseph of Chicago, Trinity Rodman is back, y'all, Yasmin Ryan, Emma Sears, Ali Sentinor, and Raylan Turner of the Portland Thorns. Some of the first-time call-ups, which is Maddie Darlene, Raylan Turner, Jackson, and Sally Menti. Big changes to this roster. Everybody should know Trinity Rodman's back. There are no Gotham players with this FIFA Women's Champions Cup starting on the 28th. And those are some of the reasons that maybe some players that are consistently in camp you're not seeing on this roster. But McCall, for you, initial thoughts on this roster, and also what does it mean as a January camp? Like what is that kind of reintroduction to the beginning of 2026 for the national team?
Yeah, I mean, for me, just looking at her selection, this is kind of like a futures camp 2.0. Obviously leaving the more experienced and older players off of it to give them a rest. That's how it's looking for me. The tenured players need a break, and they're the ones who have the most miles on their bodies, and give some youngsters a shot. Because the energy around January camp is a little bit more, hey, we're back from the holidays, get your feet wet, sharpen up your tools a little bit, get your fitness back, touch the ball and get back into the groove of things. It's a little bit more casual and like shaking off the dust. That's the energy around January camp. So for me, this is great from Emma. Perfect time and opportunity to bring in some people for the first time, especially, like I said, when her hands are tied where she can't bring in any Gotham players. She wants to give the olders a rest so then they can start their cycle in February when they all turn into NWSL in preseason and they go full steam ahead through November.
January camp is the worst.
It's honestly, it really is. It's so painful.
Even from youth, I just remember it being like all fitness.
It is. And you're obviously lost fitness because all December you're like resting. And you're just like, I feel like throwing up every day after training.
Jen, it was like that for you too?
January camps were a fitness camp. It was testing all over again, and you'd just done it with club as well after a Christmas break. So it was like testing so many times in the space of a couple of weeks. We did that. We'd always have games. Obviously, the US team have games as well. But no, for me, January camp was like, oh, we just had a break. Did I do enough running? You're questioning everything that you just did over Christmas. And it was always a tough camp for us. I think it is across the board. I don't know if the game will have changed. Maybe I can't see US national team not doing testing in this window. That was always the same for us. But I agree with McCall. It's a very young team again. More experience to be gained for all of them, for sure. Meza, for me, she's got a little bit of experience, but missed out with injury last time out. And it's players like that I think we'll look forward to this kind of window with, big vets missing. Obviously, Rodman's back in, so that's awesome for the team. But still, your mainstream leaders that we're used to be seeing aren't quite there. So this is another massive opportunity for youngsters to get minutes, get more experience. And I feel like we've been saying that so much for Emma Hayes' teams since she took over.
She's continuing the narrative into 2026, as we can see.
You
get a cap,
still doing it.
Yeah. Waiting for it to shift, but still a really young team. So no, I'm excited to see how this one plays out in the next window.
Yeah, I am too. When I look at this roster, McCall, you said it well. I think it's also another futures camp. It's exciting. It's opportunity. I think when you're younger players that are still trying to really push into this player pool as somebody that's going to consistently be called in, to me, this is one of those last opportunities, this January camp. She Believes Cup is coming up soon. We're going into a World Cup year after this. this is where the roster starts to get defined, and you see who can handle a January camp and translate it to club right away. The one player I've got my eye on, Raylan Turner, my girl. I think we finally saw her the second half of the season with Portland get her confidence consistently. I think that's so difficult as a young forward, and looking at her with the Sophia Wilson coming back into the Portland team, um, probably back into the national team at the next camp or two. She has to come in and make a statement. And going into a full team camp after the season she just had, leading the team at that front line, playing consistently, this is a really good way to start it off. And I hope that she brings that into this camp and we get to see a little bit of it, and it propels her at the beginning of the NWSL season. But McCall, I don't know if you had somebody that you had your eye on of who you really want to see stick out in this camp.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I'm just really excited about Corey Bethune lately. I think towards the latter end of the NWSL season, we started to see her come back alive again, get her fitness, get her flow. And I think that she can be so important for us when she gets more familiar with the international stage, that she can unlock any country's defense if we get her in her sharpest way and feeling the best with a U.S. women's national team jersey on. I think she can be very, very key for us. She's a great passer. She can beat people on the dribble. You know, she's like kind of an extension of Rose Lavelle in that way. She's still improving to get to that level. She's still learning how to run without the ball and the space that she can push and pull with. But if she can add those layers to her game, it will be so beneficial for us. I'm really, really excited to see Croy in a U.S. jersey more and more often.
I definitely agree with that one. You know, another name who I think is just everyone would get wise beyond her year, Olivia Moultrie.
Yeah.
Still 20, like she, when you look at that, the roster, she stands out as someone who could be a vet already with what she's done in the game. So this is another opportunity. And I think from even, you know, when you see really young players and know that they're already a leader or will become that, she's another one of those players that even at 20 is probably already a leader on a club level for sure. But from a national team perspective, another opportunity. Obviously has already got experience, but another camp to add it and grow into that role that she's probably already carving out herself, right? We all know that. But no doubt she'll be a top player in this camp.
Yeah, when I look at this, when you just brought up leaders, I was like, dang, who else is a vet leader on this team that you're going to look at? Lowe has still Caps, yeah, but she's a veteran, but still a young player as far as national team goes. You know what I mean? When we look at Caps, but I'm like, Trinity Rodman's back in. That's a big leadership standard holder for this team. But yeah, I think Olivia Moultrie is also the other one that you're like, yeah, the seasoned vet. Right. Even though she's so young with this team.
I mean, if I'm Emma, like we were talking about, like the kind of the mood and the mode of January camp. If I'm slipping into Emma's mind right now, I'm calling in these players to test their mentality, to push them beyond their comfort levels and see who's made of it. See who can grind it out in the tough times, because tournaments are tough, man. Tournaments are tough. You 2 months without a break. You know, you train or play a game every day. Intense. Every game matters. And so whether they have it or not, I think she's going to be looking for it. And also if she can push it out of them and teach them what it's like to put that jersey on and play for your country, and that there is no giving up. There is no tired. There is no I'm fatigued. You just put your best face on. And she wants to see what these players are made of, what these young talents can not only do on the pitch, but who's inside of them.